At this time, the 1st Capital Detachment of the Marine Corps League Color Guard will host the flag with the new Veterans Memorial Gold Star Healing and Peace Garden flag.
Area, then hook, present, bar.
At ease. At this time, I would like to introduce Tanya Grubb, who will sing the Star Spangled Banner.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bells bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Please be seated. At this time, I would like to introduce Sherry Condor, founder of the Gold Star Garden, who will read the names of our most recent fallen heroes.
Welcome to the Gold Star Garden. The latest names we've added to the garden are Army CW02 Jarrett M. Yoder, Army CW03 Matthew P. Ruffner, Army Staff Sergeant Merrick Soja, Army Staff Sergeant Thomas A. Bayshore Jr., Army Sergeant Patrick C. Hawkins, Army Staff Sergeant Patrick H. Quinn, and two names that will be added at our next update will be Army Captain Jason B. Jones and Coast Guard OS2 William C. Trapnell IV. It is my extreme pleasure now and my honor to introduce to you a special lady here in the York community who is dedicated to improving the quality of lives through health and healing. She is the current president and fundraising director of the Veterans Memorial Gold Star Healing and Peace Garden. She is a granddaughter, a daughter, and the mother of veterans. She is Susan Burns.
The Gold Star Healing and Peace Garden is a public statement by our community. It says to the families and the children who live here and the guests that visit us that we remember those who make and made our precious freedom possible, and we honor their courage. On behalf of the Board of Directors, I would like to thank each and every one who has given their time, their talent, and their treasure to create this beautiful living memorial. At this time, to the right of the flags, as you look at those flags, we are dedicating our giver wall. And also there is a small wall there that will tell you all the details about the Gold Star Garden. On the black, and also on behalf of the Board of Directors, I thank you for creating this garden. On the black granite walls behind me, this wall contains over 1,300 names of families that have suffered the loss of a loved one since World War I. On the interior black granite, and by the way, this is Pennsylvania black granite, are the names of over 300 Pennsylvanians who have given the supreme sacrifice for our freedom. We will never forget.
At this time, I would like to introduce our special guest in front of me. Please stand to acknowledge as I call your name. United States Congressman Scott Perry. Representing State Toomey as the director, and he will make us a few words here in a couple minutes, is Colonel Bob DeSoso, representing Senator Patrick Toomey. And you may come forth at this time if you'd like to say a couple words.
Thank you very much. Just have a short letter from Senator Toomey. Dear esteemed guests, regretfully I am unable to attend today's celebration, but would like personally to thank you for your warm invitation to your Flag Day observance ceremony. Old Glory has long stood as a symbol of freedom, democracy, and independence. Our first flag was formally introduced on June 14th, 1777 by the Second Continental Congress. Although there have been many changes over the nearly 2.5 centuries as a nation, one thing is still the same. The flag of the United States will remain an icon to the rest of the world of our commitment to freedom. America's commitment to freedom is also demonstrated every day through the countless service of brave individuals who put on or have put on her uniform in the defense of liberty. And I would be remiss if I did not take the opportunity to express my continued support of our troops and our veterans who have given so much for the values embodied in our flag. Therefore, it is only right that we take time together as a community and remember the values and the emblem that our great nation stands for. At the same time, we continue to acknowledge the service and the sacrifices of our soldiers and veterans, and especially those who have given the supreme sacrifice that are remembered here. Thank you very much. God bless you all. Pat Toomey, United States Senator.
Representing the County Commissioners, Doug Holt. And at this time, Elks and members and guests, the purpose of this service is to honor our country's flag, to celebrate the anniversary of its birthday, and to recall the achievements attained beneath its folds. It is a quiet approach that such a service should be held by the Order of Elks, an organization that is distinctively American, intensely patriotic, and without counterpart. Esteemed leading knight, what is the fraternal aims of the Benevolent and Protective Order?
To inculcate the principles of charity, justice.
To inculcate the principles of charity, justice, brotherly love, and fidelity. To promote the welfare and happiness of mankind. To uphold our country and its laws. And to quicken the spirit of patriotism.
Esteemed leading knight, excuse me. Esteemed leading knight, what is the significance of the American flag?
It is emblematic of the crowning virtue, charity.
Esteemed loyal knight, what is the significance of the American flag?
It is emblematic of justice for all.
Esteemed lecturing knight, what is the significance of the American flag?
It is the symbol of brotherly love.
Lodge Esquire, what is the significance of the flag from the station of the exalted ruler?
It is a symbol of fidelity.
Charity, justice, brotherly love, and fidelity are the cardinal principles of our order, and they are exemplified in all our services. By them we teach of love of country and of our countrymen and loyalty to our American way of life. To be an elk, to be an American citizen who lives for their country and is ready to die for it. Please stand. The chaplain will now lead us in prayer.
And let us pray. Almighty God, in this hour of patriotic observance of the birthday of the American flag, we ask you to bless our flag and the people of these United States. For all that our flag represents, both at home and abroad, we thank thee, and that through all our history as a nation. It has been an ensign of freedom, liberty, and opportunity. And through the years to come, may this flag wave as the banner of liberty, freedom, and enlightenment. May this service bring to each of us a sense of loyalty to our country and enable us to be better patriots, truer citizens, and more loyal Americans. To thy glory and to the honor of this great nation. Amen.
Amen. Please be seated. That we may better understand the meaning of our flag, I call upon Brother Don Kane for the history of the flag.
As we enter each flag representing a branch of the service, I would ask each member of that branch, currently or formerly, please stand and be recognized as that flag passes by. United States Army. United States Coast Guard. United States Marines. United States Air Force. United States Navy. Heraldry is as old as the human race. The carrying of banners has been a custom among all peoples in all ages. These banners usually contain some concept of the life or government of those fashioned from. The evolution of the American flag marks the progression of the government of the American people. From the founding of Jamestown, Virginia in 1607 until 1775, the flag of England was the flag of the peoples of America. In 1775, the pine tree flag was adopted for all colonial vessels, and this was the banner carried by the Continental forces in the Battle of Bunker Hill. The Southern colonies from 1776 to 1777 used the snake flag. In the latter part of 1775, the Continental Congress appointed a committee to consider the question of a single flag for the 13 colonies. That committee recommended a design of 13 alternate stripes of red and white, with an azure field in the upper corner bearing the red cross of St. George and the white cross of St. Andrew. John Paul Jones, the senior lieutenant of the flagship Alfred, hoisted this flag to the masthead on December 3, 1775, and 1 month later it was raised over the headquarters of General Washington at Cambridge, Massachusetts, in compliment, as he wrote, to the United Colonies. This flag, called the Continental Colors and the Grand Union, was never carried in the field by the Continental Land Forces, but it was used by the Navy as exclusive ensign and was the first American flag to receive a salute of honor, a salute of 11 guns from the Fort of Orange in the Dutch West Indies. In response to a general demand for a banner more representative of our country, the Congress on June 14, 1777 provided that the flag of the United States be 13 stripes of alternating red and white, and that the Union be 13 stars, white on a blue field representing a new constellation. It is generally believed that in May or June of 1776, a committee consisting of George Washington, Robert Morris, and George Ross commissioned Betsy Ross, a Philadelphia Quakeress, to make a flag from a rough design they left with her. It is said that she suggested that the stars should have 5 points rather than 6. This starry banner was first flown at Fort Stanwix, called Fort Schuyler, at the time near the city of Rome, New York, on August 3rd, 1777, and was under fire 3 days later at the Battle of Oriskany, August 6th, 1777, during a British and Indian attack. The first official salute to the Stars and Stripes was given on February 14, 1778, by France on the French coast, when the Ranger, under command of John Paul Jones, was saluted by the French fleet. The flag then carried by Ranger was made by the young women of Portsmouth, New Hampshire, from stripes from their best colored silk dresses and white wedding gown of a recent bride. It is said that the same Ranger's flag was flown by Jones's ship, the Bonhomme Richard, and his thrilling fight by moonlight upon the high seas with the British frigate Serapis. When the Serapis struck her colors, the immortal fame of John Paul Jones was ensured as the intrepid defender of the youthful republic. The original 13 Stars and Stripes represented the original 13 colonies. In 1795, 2 additional Stars and Stripes were added to represent admission of the Union of Vermont and Kentucky. Under this banner of 15 Stars and Stripes was fought the War of 1812. It was the site of it flying over Fort McHenry on September 14, 1814, that inspired Francis Scott Key to write what has become the national anthem, the Star-Spangled Banner. Miss Margaret Young, who cut the stars for that particular banner, was the mother of Henry Sanderson, the Grand Exalted Ruler of the Order of Elks in 1884. Please be seated. The Congress on April 14, 1818, adopted a resolution that on and after July 4, 1818, the number of stripes should be 13, and that the field of blue should carry 1 star for each of the 20 states in the Union, and that a new star should be added for each state thereafter. Since 1818, there has been no change in the flag design except that 28 new stars were added before July 4th, 1912. And this flag of 48 stars flew over the nation for 47 years until just before the Vietnam War. On July 4th, 1959, a star was added for Alaska, the first non-connected state, and a year later Hawaii, our island state, added the 50th star. Our present flag, 50 stars and 13 stripes, is accompanied by the POW MIA flag to recognize the plight and demise of a special group of our armed forces, those who were prisoners of war and still remain missing in action. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce the Color Guard, 1st Capital Detachment of the Marine Corps. Please stand and salute our flag.
Port arm. Forward march. March time, march. Color guard, halt. Left face.
As this emblematic please stand and salute our flag. As this flag is emblematic, it is first in our hearts and loyal Americans, so it is close to our altar as loyal Elks. The gentle breezes with lingering crests can kiss the folds of no flag, which can compare with it in beauty. There is no such red in budding rose, in falling leaf of sparkling wine, no such white in April blossom, in crescent moon or mountain snow, no such blue in women's eyes, in earth's depths or heaven's dome, and no such pageantry of coloring stars and streaming light in all the spectrum of the sea and sky. Please be seated.
We're gonna retire.
What's that?
We're gonna retire now.
Our flag is at once a history, a decoration, and a prophecy. It represents the American nation as it was at its birth. It speaks for what it is today, and it holds the opportunity for the future to add other stars to the glorious constellation. The Benevolent Protective Order of Elks is the first and only fraternal body to require formal observation of Flag Day. In July of 1908, the Grand Lodge of this order in Dallas, Texas, then assembled, provided for the annual nationwide observance of Flag Day on the 14th of June in each year by making it mandatory upon each subordinate lodge of the order. This unique distinction as the strongest promoter of the Flag Day is most becoming to the Order of Elks. This order is distinctively American. Only American citizens are eligible to join it, and it has no foreign affiliation. It has linked its destiny with the destiny of our country and made this flag the symbol of our self-dedication to God, to country, and fellow man. Please stand and join in singing God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans, wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
Color guard. Forward, arms, right, face.
Please be seated when they are dismissed.
Present, arm. Forward, march.
At ease. Please be seated. At this time, I would like to introduce Kevin Knapp, United States Army retired, who will do the response for the Flag Day ceremony.
Too many short people. Can you hear me in the back? You good? The Stars and Stripes flag of the United States of America, the worldwide hope of all who under God would be free to live and do his will. Upon its folds is written the story of America, the epic of the mightiest and noblest in all history. In all the days when peoples of the old world groveled in abject homage to the heresy of the divine right of kings, a new constellation appeared in the western skies, the Stars and Stripes, symbolizing the divine right of all to life, liberty, happiness, and peace under endowment by their Creator. To what man or woman is given words adequate to tell the story of the building of this nation? That immortal story is written in blood and sweat, in heroic deeds and unremitting toil, in clearing the primeval forests and in planting of vast prairies where once the coyote and buffalo roamed. Onward swept the nation, spanning wide rivers, leaping vast mountain ranges, leaving in its path villages and farms, factories and cities, till at last this giant nation stood astride the continent from the Atlantic to the Pacific. This is the heritage of the people of the United States. It has been repurchased by each succeeding generation and must be rewon again, again, and again until the end of time, lest it too shall pass like the ancient empires of Greece and Rome. The price of liberty is eternal vigilance. What was won at Lexington and Concord and Bunker Hill had to be repurchased at Yorktown. What John Paul Jones achieved upon the high seas in the War of Independence had to be repurchased by Commodore Perry on Lake Erie in the War of 1812. The prestige of Admiral Dewey's victory at Manila Bay in 1898 was rewon by the naval battles in the seas above the far distant islands of the Pacific after the sneak attacks upon Pearl Harbor, and Manila in 1941 had summoned our country to assume its role in World War II. What our troops achieved under the Stars and Stripes at Chateau Thierry in Flanders in World War I, their sons were required to repurchase in World War II in the bloody trek across northern Africa, on the beachheads of Europe in the Battle of the Bulge. The flag our American men raised at Iwo Jima was the same flag later raised in defense of Ishan, Pusan, and Pork Chop Hill in far-off Korea. Then another generation under the same flag bled to stem the threat of communism in far-off Vietnam. Our young people were again called to carry our flag in the defense of a free world in the actions in Grenada and Panama. Willingly, our brave men and women carried our flag in honor of the American people into the battle in Operation Desert Storm. And who among us will ever forget the sight of firefighters raising our flag over the ruins of the World Trade Center? The military personnel draping our flag on the side of the Pentagon, or the citizens of Somerset County, Pennsylvania, placing our flag near the site where the brave Americans died fighting the hijackers of Flight Number 93. No other symbol could have offered such comfort as we still today endure the horrors of that day. American armed forces carry our flags in the villages of Iraq, have carried our flag in the villages of Iraq, the mountains of Afghanistan, and in the jungles of the Philippines, and wherever terrorism may reside. Their struggle against the sponsors of terrorism is the hardest battle yet, and is this threat to our nation and to our way of life is certainly as great a challenge as our flag has ever seen. The resurgence of patriotism since September 11, 2001 has rekindled respect for our flag. Today, we see the Star-Spangled Banner wherever we turn, on homes and businesses, automobiles, and billboards. Still, such displays stimulate our love for our nation and for what it stands for. They remind us of the sacrifices being made by men and women of our armed forces around the world, and they are tribute to the heroes of the police and fire departments the nation over. The greatest significance of this flag, however, lies in the influence it has in the hearts and minds of millions of people. It was waved over the unparalleled progress of a nation in developing democratic institutions, scientific and technological knowledge, education, and culture. It has served as a beacon for millions of poor and oppressed refugees abroad and stands as a promise that the underprivileged will not be forgotten. There are people in the world who see it as a symbol of imperialism. Others see it as a destiny of the people. But reference to these and similar views of the flag was resolved by Woodrow Wilson when he said, "This flag, which we honor, under which we serve, is the emblem of our unity, our power, our thought, and shape of this nation. It has no other character than which we give it from generation to generation. The choices are ours. Only love, true love of our fellow man, can create peace. The emblem and token of that love is the stars and stripes, the symbol of the American way of life. Our fathers, God, to thee, author of liberty, to thee we sing. Long may our land be bright with freedom's holy light. Protect us by thy might, great God, our King."
Please stand and repeat with me the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please be seated. Lodge Esquire, how shall we further honor our flag?
The flag is formally honored by the Pledge of Allegiance. This pledge was written in 1892 by Francis Bellamy and published in the Youth's Companion as part of a patriotic campaign of that magazine. The pledge did not become part of the flag code until 1942, and in 1954 the phrase "under God" was added.
At this time, I'd like to call upon Kevin Knapp, United States Army retired, who will introduce our keynote speaker.
I'd just like to thank everybody for coming. It is with great honor that I get the privilege now to introduce to you our 2014 Flag Day guest speaker, Brigadier General Wilbur E. Wolfe III.
Well, I'm not quite 6'3", so I'm gonna have to make a small adjustment on there, Kevin. All right, can you hear me all right in the rear? How about the band? We okay over there? Marine League, we okay? I gotta tell you, Marines over there, I know the world is okay now when I saw a Marine carrying your colors over. As much as I love my 28th Division soldiers here, I never thought I'd see a soldier carrying your colors, gentlemen. So, ladies and gentlemen, Congressman Perry, Colonel D'Souza representing the Senator, Commissioner, fellow citizens, and most importantly, as I look out on this crowd, Gold Star mothers, Gold Star families, good afternoon, or I think it actually is evening now. And thank you very much for that quite appropriate introduction, Kevin, and the welcome. My thanks and compliments to those who have worked long and hard to plan and execute this very wonderful ceremony and this celebration, to those who have made this Memorial Day Gold Star Healing and Peace Gardens possible. And I'm honored to be here with you today to participate in this most fitting tribute to the honor of our veterans, to our Gold Star families, and most especially to the birth of the symbol of our nation. The Stars and Stripes, Old Glory, red, white, and blue, the Star-Spangled Banner, the flag of the United States of America, arguably the most recognized national symbol in the world, the symbol of liberty and freedom for not only the United States and her citizens, but for many others throughout the world. These colors of our nation that drape the coffins and adorn the graves of those who have given the last full measure of devotion to God and country. So as I reflected on the significance of this 237th birthday of our flag, and of course today also being the 239th birthday of the United States Army, I wondered what it was that had brought our forefathers to this turning point in our history. Here in York, nearby in Philadelphia, and elsewhere in the colonies, on the eve of our Declaration of Independence and our Revolution. And then I remembered something taught to me in Big Spring High School on the other side of the county line. And that was when in the course of human events it becomes necessary for one people to dissolve the political bands which have connected them with another, and to assume among the powers of the earth a separate and equal station to which the laws of nature and the nature's God entitle them. A decent respect of the opinions of mankind requires that they should declare the causes which impel them to separation. These words you know well, the preamble to our Declaration of Independence, that I believe capture appropriately the sentiment in the colonies that led to the Continental Congress on this date to establish 10 companies of riflemen as the American Continental Army in this day in 1775, and on this day 2 years later in 1777 for Congress to pass the first Flag Act, and you've heard already several readings of the contents thereof. So I recognize today that we specifically gather to recognize the birth of our flag, but I would also like to speak a bit about the brave men and women of our armed forces who, throughout history, have fought and died in the shadow of these colors. Those patriotic, strong, and brave, many of them, like Specialist Martin Condor, who was honored here in these gardens, who have made the last 239 years possible. So as I pondered these things, I imagined myself a rebellious subject of the King of England here in the colonies. And I wondered, why did they, the likes of Washington, Jefferson, Franklin, and Adams, landed gentry and common man alike, from the cities, from here, like in the valleys of the Cumberland, and then the yet wild lands further west of the Susquehanna, them to sustain the already existing Minutemen, them to form the Continental Army, and them to raise our colors. And why did they march to battle against their keepers, many to lay down their life? I think that they then, and we now, enter the sacrifice of service for many of the same reasons. For God and country, for duty and honor, these reasons and those that I will try to explain that follow, I believe still course through the veins of our servicemen and servicewomen today. Our flag stands for this. Our Army stands for this. We serve for this. They died for this. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. That whenever any form of government becomes destructive to these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it, and to institute new government, laying its foundation on such principles and organizing its powers in such form as to them shall seem most likely to affect their safety and happiness. These words, of course, from the Declaration of Independence, adopted in Philadelphia by Congress on the 4th of July of 1776. Our flag stands for this. We serve for this. They died for this. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty, for ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. These words you know well as the preamble to our Constitution, adopted on the 17th of September, 1787, in the city of Philadelphia, which remains the oldest written national constitution in continuous use in the world. Our flag stands for this. We serve for this. They died for this. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech or of the press, or of the right of the people to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. And a well-regulated militia being necessary for the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. These words, of course, being the first two amendments to our Constitution, better known as the Bill of Rights. Our flag stands for this. We serve for this. They died for this. For every mother and father, for every son and daughter, for every brother and sister who have from all walks of life come, who have assembled to the sound of the bugle in the shadow of the Stars and Stripes, and who have marched forth across the colonies and to distant lands, and who have joined in battle with the enemies of this nation. They have waved a tearful goodbye to their family and friends, and they have ventured forth to a foreign land many to never return, to fight not a war of their choosing, but a war that has been chosen for them by those we have elected and those who we entrust to lead this nation. On a more personal note, I serve because I believe in my country. I believe in American exceptionalism. I believe in her future. I believe in my fellow citizens. I love my Army, and I love this flag of our nation. These colors that make me stand just a bit taller and straighter when in her presence. These colors, they comfort me when I shed a tear seeing her draped on the coffins of our departed comrades. These colors that make me pause to reflect on all those who have come before, those who have served and died in her shadow. I serve because I refuse to see the freedoms earned for all of us by the likes of Specialist Condor, by the millions of U.S. Army soldiers and veterans of the Marine Corps, Navy, and Air Force. Those who have come before me, I refuse to see their sacrifice have been in vain. I serve because I have seen firsthand what life is like elsewhere in this world, where there is oppression, where there is a lack of basic human rights, where evil rules and tyranny reigns, and when government ceases to be of the people, by the people, and for the people. I serve because I believe in the fundamental goodness of our nation and in the incredible forethought of our founding fathers to have created the charter documents of our freedom, the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and the Bill of Rights, that have been and must remain the keystones of our country. I serve so that my wife and our son and daughter can continue to be free. Those many years ago, around the birth of our nation and our flag, our founding fathers, they decreed that all men are created equal. They said that we all have the unalienable right to the pursuit of life, liberty, and happiness. But when it comes to those who have served this flag, those who have served, fought, and died, and those who will lay down their life in the days and years to come, I believe that our founding fathers, they were wrong. We, the citizens of this great nation, are not all equal. Though we are born equal, to have equal rights and equal opportunity, those who have pledged allegiance to this flag, and they have consummated that allegiance with their service, they have risen from the masses to serve us all, and they have distanced themselves from mere equality. They, who have at some point in their life written a blank check to the people of the United States of America, payable in any amount of blood, sweat, and tear, to include an amount equal to that of their life, as was paid by those recently honored on Memorial Day, those we remembered a short time ago who 70 years ago fought their way inland on D-Day, those whose comrades numbering some 9,000 lay on the beach behind, never to see their homeland again, those members of our Special Operations Command who this week laid down their life in Afghanistan, those memorialized and honored here in these gardens, those throughout our history who have honored our colors at home and abroad. In doing so, they, and many of you, our service members and veterans, have contributed and sacrificed far beyond that of your fellow citizens. You and they, the strong and the brave, have shouldered the burden of the defense of this nation so that citizens across this land may sleep soundly knowing that on every tomorrow, Old Glory will wave proudly from sea to shining sea. You and they have sacrificed much, and many, the now silent centuries, have sacrificed all. Again, it's been my honor to be with you here today to participate in this fitting tribute to our Army and to our flag. It is my honor to hold my place in line with those who have come before, those who serve today, those who will utter the oath in the coming generations, that oath to protect and defend our nation, her Constitution, and her citizens long into the future. So on this day of honor to the colors of our nation, and here in this garden of healing and peace, I ask that you let me share with you the words that I am both most proud and most sad to say as an American soldier. On behalf of a grateful nation, in sadness, those words and final honors I have uttered on bended knee to the sound of taps, clasping crisply folded colors through the haze of tears, to mothers, fathers, wives, sons, and daughters of my soldiers and friends who have died. Yet here today, with overwhelming pride, I'm exceptionally proud to say to those honored here, to the many of you, to our Gold Star families, and to service members everywhere, on behalf of a grateful nation, thank you for your sacrifice and for your service. It is for you we say we live in the land of the free because of the brave. And I will close with one final and possibly most visible reason that we serve. We, the citizens of this great nation, we, the service members of the United States of America, from the colonial militia to the Continental Army, to the Grand Army of the Republic, to the doughboys of World War I, to the greatest generation of World War II, to those who fought and died in the frozen hell of Korea, and those sweltering jungles of Vietnam, to those who serve today. They served and we serve today to protect and defend the symbol of our nation so proudly and prominently displayed here. The simple cloth and thread, and in this distinguished form of stars and stripes in red, white, and blue, it is the fabric of our nation that binds us together. We serve so that Old Glory may wave proudly now and forevermore. As a citizen and as a soldier, I promise, I declare, and I swear to you that I will never let these colors fall. I will never see these colors run. So here in this place of honor and healing, I think of the birth of our nation and our colors those many, many years ago, as night turned into day and as the sky to a lighter shade of gray. And as I stand here today, I think I can almost hear our forefathers say and pray, "Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave, o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave." Long live the Republic. May God bless you. May God bless these colors of our nation. May God bless all who have served so that we may live free. May God bless the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and may God continue to bless the United States of America. Thank you very much.
At this time, I'll call on Tanya Grubb to lead us in singing of America the Beautiful.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
In the conclusion of this observance of Flag Day, let us rededicate ourselves to the flag of the United States of America, and may the principles of justice, charity, justice, brotherly love, and fidelity ever increase in each of us. I now declare the service closed, and thank you all for being here today, and be careful when you leave the park.